Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
All right. I can handle it from here, Pickle. So, hi. Welcome into the pre-show. I'm Greg. That's Ashley. Ashley's going to be a little bit out of it. And the reason she's going to be a little bit out of it on today's show is because of what you see down here. Down here.
Caw!
Right now, we are watching North Texas and Louisiana Tech in the Conference USA semifinals. Pickle is extremely sports nervous.
I am.
She's very sports nervous.
I don't typically get sports nervous. It's been a while since I've been this. It honestly, it's probably been since the NCAA tournament win last year.
Okay.
That's, I think, the last time that I've been this sports nervous.
Because here's the thing. From what I understand, and I'm not a college basketball guy. We'll talk a little bit about college basketball on today's show. But I'm not a college basketball guy.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I understand, if North Texas were to lose this game, they'll probably go to the NIT, right? Mm-hmm. If they were to win this game, then they will play in the Conference USA final tomorrow.
Yeah, the championship game at 7:30 p.m.
And if they win that, they get an auto bid to the league, to the tournament. If they lose that game,
you're probably
praying.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I would feel we dropped the final regular season game against UTEP. Mm-hmm. Had we had won that game, I think we would have had a pretty 85% chance of saying, you know what?
As long as you make the final.
As long as you make the final, you're going to get an at-large bid. Mm-hmm. I don't think with dropping that they're going to extend that unless something else like we need other people to fall in their tournaments quickly.
Yes. So, Pickle's very sports nervous.
I am.
And so you can keep an eye on the score. There you go. We've got the game cast up there. We obviously can't show you the game. We know they're right. It's on CBS Sports Network.
Yes.
But we're following the game along. I will tell you that a fun game to play will be that the game cast is a little bit ahead of our TV. Did he miss a dunk?
Yeah.
A little bit ahead of our TV. And so if the score changes or something happens, you're going to have about a 5 to 8 second warning that Pickle's going to react. Okay? So you're going to get that. And yeah, so we're going to be kind of keeping an eye on that. We are going to do Mailbag Friday and all of our normal stuff here. We're going to have a normal show. I mean, normal-ish for us, I guess.
Is anything that we do ever really considered normal, per se?
So if you've got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, get them in the comments. By the way, I just want to point out the fact that 10 minutes a quarter of this game has elapsed, and it's 7-2.
Yeah, we were sitting here watching it, and I think it was like 5 minutes.
Rob, look at this score. Look at this score.
He laughs. You know what? Like I said, it might be 7-2. It might be 7-2, but what actually counts here is that North Texas is at 7 and La Tech is at 2.
I mean,
and
do you think 7 points is enough?
If La Tech only has 2, then yes.
I'm just saying that La Tech
this is going to be first team to 10.
They may not get more. Anyway, so there you go. We're keeping an eye on the North Texas and Louisiana Tech game. You can hang along with us. Now that baseball is out of a lockout, there's a greater than zero chance we do this for a Ranger game at some point.
Midday, 1 o'clock afternoon against the Orioles.
We figure, hey, it's Friday. We can have a little bit of fun and take a look at this. Good Lord. They cannot stop missing shots.
This is great.
This is incredible. It's incredible. This is incredibad, is what it is. Anyway, we're gonna be there talking a little bit about this. So make sure you keep an eye on the score. See what's going on here. We will keep an eye on the North Texas versus Louisiana Tech Conference USA semifinal here. And so Pickle's going to be pretty distracted here. And
bucket.
Okay, there you go. See, that's the kind of delay you could expect from things. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. We've got a big show ahead. So if you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, all of those fun things, get them in the comments, and we will get to as many as we can in Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We still got 15 seconds before noon, so I'll just kind of vamp. What's going on, Pickle? Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a good nervous. It's fun. I feel like especially because the job that we do, we get pretty used to watching sports and having like no real rooting interest in it. So the few times where we can find a rooting interest again and sit like there as a fan is still enjoyable. Crap, they're heating up.
Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle. No, the theme or the opening of the show. Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, your home for March Madness.
Hoops at the Star.
My name is Mike Teffer. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I'm sitting here pretty calmly. I'm like just hanging out. Sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. Not calm. She is the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Well, you should be. I thought that you, after last night, your hoops at the Star experience, I thought you would be nervous for all the rest of these games because you were waving the Conference USA banner last night. Like, if we had a Conference USA flag, he was big, Rob Lowe. I just hope everyone has fun wearing the NFL hat.
I'm going to wear a Conference USA cap.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe at one point I said that I was pretty happy that my UAB Blazers were beating who they beat
FAU Owls.
Florida Atlantic. But then I was also pretty sad because my FAU Owls
were down big.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to all that. Today is Friday, March 11th, 2022, 258 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to our own Mike Craven.
Happy birthday, Craven.
Happy birthday, Mike Craven.
He's smart and didn't come in today.
Episode 1348. On today's show, friends, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened yesterday and a run-in with a gentleman who we are quite familiar with, whose bobblehead is sitting right here. Talk about that. And then back half of the show, it's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. So if you've got questions about high school football, college football recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, get them in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, etc. We will answer as many as we can on the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door? So.
We sure do. It was Tony Blaylock, Just Chad, Aaron Arbuckle, and Miss Terry Adams. Welcome in, fellas and lady fella.
Welcome in, fellas and lady fella. Okay, so if you missed the pre-show, over here, right here.
There you go.
Squaring it up, right here, is you can keep an eye on the North Texas versus Louisiana Tech Conference USA semifinal, which is going on right now. That is why Pickle is, distracted. Okay? This is the reason. So you can be distracted with her. You can pay attention. The game is on CBS Sports Network if you're in so inclined to watch it. But here you go. She's very nervous about this game, so we figured we would give everyone an opportunity to follow along with Pickle's pain. So this is good.
Hopefully Pickle's happiness.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I'm not wishing pain over here.
Well, I know. Pickle's nerves.
Yes.
Pickle, that's fair to say.
There you go. Nerves is better.
Anyway, so you can follow along right here. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about last night. So last night, speaking of basketball, you were very you were nice enough to hook my wife and I up.
My wife.
With an opportunity to go out to the Star in Frisco. Star in Frisco is where the Conference USA basketball tournament is going
Hashtag
on.
hoops at the Star.
Hashtag hoops at the Star. You have connections there because both you and Malpal are involved in it. You were emceeing the Fan Fest outside. Today, Mallory's not here because she is out there emceeing basketball games, like doing the between game, TV timeout, get the crowd
anytime it's halftime. It's anytime there's a timeout. You get the crowd pumped. You do some fun games, just normal stuff.
And so we went out there. You had the hookup out there, and so I decided to turn that into date night. And so we went out to dinner, and then we went over to the Star in Frisco.
The Star.
It's a cool setup.
It is.
There. What they've done is they've split the Star in half, and they have made it so that there's two courts going on simultaneously. And you were very nice to hook us up with all access passes.
I was fixing to say I was getting some flack from you yesterday about not having the full VIP to pull the curtain back completely. They showed up at the Fan Fest, and the great Miss Kelly Carney was like, "Oh, I had their credentials," and I looked at Tepper and I was like, "Guess you got credentials."
We got credentials, and so Tepwife and I got to go out there, and we got to go sit courtside. We got to go sit courtside for UTEP and Middle Tennessee, which was fun game. I obviously had a rooting interest.
Absolutely.
In that was easy for me.
Yeah,
right? That was easy.
You're gonna root for the Texas team.
I'm rooting for UTEP.
We were rooting for UTEP. Yeah.
We love UTEP around here. Big fans of their work, and so for the first time this year, I watched UTEP basketball. First and last time, as it turns out.
Big UTEP basketball fan, Greg Tepper.
And so we were sitting there courtside. A lot of fun. Having a great time. Oh, we should have had you pull up the tweet.
Oh, man.
Anyway. So, about 5 minutes left in the first half. It's a competitive game, kind of back and forth, kind of teams feeling each other out. And suddenly, to our left, there is a buzz, and there's people kind of walking around.
We see a lot of cameras coming out.
Stuff like that. I'm like, what's going on? And so we look over there, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, people noticed that Ashley Pickle was there.
Oh gosh, stop.
Now, and I will tell you, this is the first time I've been in an event like this with Pickle. She is a bona fide celebrity. She is getting stopped all the time.
That's not true.
People want to say hi. People want pictures, et cetera, et cetera. She's the very famous Ashley Pickle.
No, I've just worked this thing enough that people recognize.
And so, people are recognizing her left and right. The other thing But it's not her. It's not. They're not buzzing about Ashley Pickle. Instead, they're buzzing because there's a gentleman over there wearing sunglasses, and he's got a little bit of some folks around, an entourage, if you will.
Yeah.
And I look over there and I go,
got a big old sparkly chain on.
Sparkly chain. I go, hey, that's Aaron Jones.
And it all clicks because, again, we're watching the UTEP game. So we're like, oh, yeah, that's definitely him.
You know, this Aaron Jones. Yeah, bobblehead Aaron Jones. He's over there. And I also spot with him in his group, standing next to him, is Alvin Jones.
Yeah.
Alvin, who was, of course, a star linebacker there at UTEP. He was there, and they were coming out to obviously support UTEP. And so a lot of people coming over, taking pictures with them, stuff like that. Aaron Jones, of course, the starting running back for the Green Bay Packers. I believe he was a Pro Bowl running back.
Yes.
I mean, he's
big,
a star.
Big deal.
He's a star. He's an NFL star. He's a big, but he is also, if you follow him on Twitter, he is also big UTEP guy. He's a guy who supports the team.
I was fixing to say
he's an El Paso guy. He and his brother went to El Paso Burgess. And then
if you look at his Twitter, like his whole bio is all about, like, it's got 915 in it. It's all about El Paso. Like he waves the flag.
For a minute there, his touchdown. I haven't seen him score a touchdown in the past couple of months, but like his touchdown celebration was he'd find the camera and he'd throw up the 915 or something like that. So he's a big supporter. Okay, big supporter. Turns out after he's done taking pictures and stuff like that, as the second half is getting going, he comes and sits down. Right in front of us.
Literally. These seats.
Pickle took a picture of the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like Aaron and Alvin were sitting right in front of us. And now this is how I am whenever I see somebody who is relatively famous. Right? This is how I am. I'm the guy, I don't want to whip him. I don't want to be the guy who's like, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, my gosh, you got a selfie, something like that.
Right.
I don't want to be that guy.
And my thing with it is if at the end of the game he would have turned around and was facing directly towards us and you make eye contact, then maybe it's okay to kind of go up and say something. But the moment they sit down, you don't want to be the person going, hey.
Right, exactly. You don't want to. I don't want to whip them. That's my thing. So we're just hanging out. We're watching the game, stuff like that. One of your buddies with Conference USA, photographer. What was her name?
Sarah.
Sarah. She's snapping pictures and stuff like that. And she tweets a picture of celebrities at courtside, like they're doing. Hey, look at who came out to the Conference USA basketball tournament, which is a big deal, right? This
Absolutely,
a star NFL running back, and a star, his brother, his star in his own right, sitting there, and tweets it from the Conference USA account. And in this photo, you can see your entire Texas Football Today crew just sitting right behind Aaron and Alvin, just sitting there. A couple minutes pass, and because I think your friend came over and said, by the way, I got a picture and I tweeted it.
Yeah, Sarah.
I think you might look dumb.
Sarah came over and she's like, I snapped a couple pictures. I'm hoping you're not making like a weird face or talking, but I'll try to post one that like you don't look like,
Right. She posts it. Step retweets it and says, I think I spot Ashley Pickle and Tepper. A couple minutes pass by, and there's a TV timeout. And Alvin turns around.
He takes out his phone, and he's looking at his phone, and then he turns around.
And goes, Tepper, what's up, dude? And I'm like, now, Alvin and I follow each other on Twitter. We're Twitter buddies in the same way that you're Twitter buddies with anybody, right? And so we just start talking, dap him up, stuff like that. We're talking. I ask him what he's doing. I didn't know. I hadn't followed his Twitter super closely, obviously, unfortunately. I'm off Twitter at the moment. And I said, what are you up to these days? He goes, I'm playing in Canada. I'm playing with the CFL. He's playing for the Rough Riders. I think it's Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
Yeah.
I think I made that up. But he's playing for the Rough Riders up there in CFL. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And, of course, because I'm always grinding for this show, I go, bro, we got to get you on the show sometime.
Yeah.
We got to get you on. He's like, yes, absolutely. Let's do it. And so you can look for an Alvin Jones appearance here on the show coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll get him on. But it was just good to see him. Will you just talk a little bit about Burgess and stuff like that, and get to see him and Aaron and out there supporting UTEP. Of course, he turned around and I was talking, and you had a conversation with my wife, and I believe my wife's comment was unbelievable. she looks, and Jen is sitting there. I turn and look to see what she's doing, and she goes, he's never going to let this go. And I said, oh, no. And Mallory looks at me, and she goes,
well, you're never going to hear the end of it. I was like, I know.
Everybody mind.
It was cool.
It was fun. It was good to see those dudes. UTEP came out, unfortunately, on the wrong end of an overtime game. It was a great game.
I was fixing to say, man, like, talk about a perfect game to choose. Overtime, courtside, it was
you
fun.
know, like, I'm rooting for UTEP, but, like, I'm not. You're watching North Texas and Louisiana Tech. You have a vested interest in this game. I would prefer North Texas wins this game.
Right.
Like, that would be super neat. But I don't actually care.
You do care.
I do care. I do care because I want you to be happy.
Yes,
and I have a lot of friends who are North Texas alums, and I don't think I know any Louisiana Tech alums. But anyway, all that's to say, it was a fun night out there at the Star. The hashtag Hoops at the Star is a fun outing.
Hoops at the Star.
And I'm fairly certain you can get in pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're in DFW and you want to go out there today or tomorrow, they got the women's tournaments going on too.
The two men's games are up first
ones,
today,
right?
And then the women's are tonight, and then tomorrow for the championship, women's is at 4:30, men's is at 7:30. We're not doing Fan Fest tonight, thank goodness. For any of you who are not in the DFW area, it feels like it's about 25 degrees outside, and there's a 20-mile-per-hour wind.
But you can go out there and see Pickle and Malpal.
Yep.
They'll be out there emceeing. So
You
anyway,
sure will.
that was our fun big night out there at the Star in
Yeah,
Frisco
thanks for letting us crash date night.
the Hoops at the Star. My wife thought it was a lot of fun.
Good.
She thought it was a lot of fun.
That's who I was actually concerned about.
No, she had a lot of fun. She thought, it helped that it was a good game. I'll be honest, if like Middle Tennessee had blown them out, she might have been like, this was okay.
Yeah.
But like it was a close game. I mean, UTEP was shooting in the final seconds for the win in regulation. You know, Middle Tennessee pulled away there in overtime, but the bands were good, and good crowd there for UTEP. It's a lot of fun. The fun out there. So if you have the means, go out there to the Star in Frisco for a little bit of hoops action. It's the first college basketball. This is true. I looked at this. I figured this out. This is the first college basketball game I've been to in 13 years.
That just blows my mind, mainly because there's good college basketball up here.
The last game I went to was in 2009. I went to Mizzou played in the Elite Eight against Connecticut the year with Kimball Walker and stuff like that. I believe that's 2009. I think so. 8, 9.
Let me see. It's definitely in that range.
It was around then. Let's see. Tournament opponents. Come on now. Elite Eight. It was 2009. Yeah, they lost to Connecticut. Kimball Walker in Arizona, but we happened to be there in Arizona for spring training. And so we went there and saw Mizzou play and lost and whatever. But like of
course you would be there for preseason baseball, practice baseball, and say, "Oh, I guess we can go to an Elite Eight game." That's the most on-brand thing.
We went that one. It was fun. They lost, but
I guess twist my arm.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's the last college basketball game I went to before last night.
Wild.
Was in March of 2009. So a lot of fun. And so I'll say this: I don't think that's the last time I'm going to Hoops at the Star.
Good.
Fun time.
That's what we hope.
Anyway.
We hope people come out there.
We're Texas football today. We're here every weekday at noon talking football, ostensibly. In the Lone Star State. It was a football story. Aaron Jones was there. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Texasfootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. All right, Pickle. It's time. As you're keeping an eye on the North Texas Louisiana Tech game, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score some great deals on award-winning Hondas. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit NTX Honda Dealers to learn more.
NTXHondaDealers.com.
.com, yeah.
.com.
Put the .com on there.
.world. Anyway, so if you got questions, high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, college basketball, we can ask. Yeah, I can try.
We're kind of swimming in the soup right now.
We're kind of experts.
Yeah.
They call me Bracket Tepper.
We went to one game.
In 13 years, and I'm like, yeah, ask me anything.
You know what? I got this.
We have questions, high school ball, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel. Let us know. Get in the comments. Right now, Louisiana Tech up 17-10. 17. He's going to make this free throw.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
What the deuce?
So let us know what comments you got. Do we have any questions in the comments?
We sure do. The first one, Tepper, when you fly, how early do you arrive at the airport?
I think this is a point of contention between you and I.
Yes. Although I'm
For me,
starting to swim in that soup a little bit.
Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
My goal when I go to the airport is to get there early enough that I'm not sweating, but literally no earlier. That is my goal. There's this perfect spot, right, where if you get, I think we all agree that if you get there 10 minutes before your plane leaves, you're going to be sweating.
Yes.
Right? You're going to be sweating. I think we also agree that if you get there 4 hours before your plane leaves, you are there way too early. Is that fair?
An hour?
I said 4 hours.
Oh, four. Yes.
So you're trying to narrow this down and find the sweet spot.
Most
where
people
you're not sitting there in the airport forever.
Can we agree that I feel like the national average, and mainly because this is what they tend to recommend, is 2 hours before your flight? I would say
they say 2 hours, and I'm here to tell you that is big airport bar that is trying to sell you beer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you do not need to be there that long. Okay. 2 hours is ridiculous. Okay? Here's my thing.
It does depend on the day and the time that you're flying.
It depends on the day. Certainly. But here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be there an hour and 20 minutes before the plane leaves.
Okay.
Hour and 20 minutes. Okay? That gives you enough time that if you're checking a bag, you should be able to check a bag. Mm-hmm. That gives you enough time that if the line is pretty long, you should be able to maneuver through it.
Yeah.
An hour and 20 minutes. So if your flight leaves at 9 p.m., 7:40, I'm getting there. Okay?
That's fine, yeah.
That's where I'm at. I do not want to sit there and drink a beer at the airport unless I'm going somewhere fun. You know what I mean? And then I might plan things differently. That is where I'm at. Is an hour and 20 is what I figured out is the sweet spot. Now, you're right. If you're flying during spring break or you're flying during
Thanksgiving, Christmas, yeah,
that does not apply. This applies to a normal flight.
If you're flying out at Tuesday, yeah.
Yes, a high volume time of travel.
See, and I'll tell you this, and this is where I have done better at adopting that kind of mindset, because I was hardcore. 2 hours have to be, if not 3.
What do you do, though?
Here's my thing, but wait. So now our office is like less than 10 minutes from DFW Airport. It's not hard to get there. I know the airport well. I know how to park. I know how to get there. It's like if I'm traveling alone, I can get in and out of there in 30 minutes. Be fine. When I was back home, the closest airport was the Austin airport. So we had to drive an hour and a half to even get to the airport.
Sure.
So for us, it was we're leaving 4 hours early because we're giving ourselves 2 hours and then 2 hours to be inside there, because one, we were like a family of 4. If you're traveling with kids, that's a different thing.
But you're building in, that's the thing, you're building in travel time too. You're building in some safeguards against getting stuck in traffic or things like that. So
also, I feel like it depends on how well you know how much you travel, because before, like, the airport was like a foreign thing when we were just doing it once a year to go on vacation.
Right.
You know, it's like now traveling for work often, it's like, oh, I know airports like the back of my hand.
Yes, exactly.
So it takes a little bit of experience flying to get down, like to cut your time short,
yes.
I feel like.
There's certainly an experience gap. And certainly, again, context matters. This
and
is not going to be...
Pre-check
matters, right?
Hashtag pre-check matters.
Pre-check matters. It does. I'm a big fan of pre-check. So... for me, that is I'm an hour and 20 minute guy. I'm hour and 20 minutes. That's when I arrive at the airport. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, let's go with what are your real expectations for Judson next year as Coach Soto comes in? Yeah,
so they've got a new coach in Mark Soto, and we obviously have a lot of respect for what Coach Soto has done pretty much every step of the way.
Yep.
Everywhere that he's been, we've been big fans of his. He's taking over a program that's coming off of, I would say, a lackluster season, right? At 4-6, not up to their standards. They missed the playoffs, etc. They were a weird team last year.
Yeah, they didn't have their coach wasn't there for the full year.
Yes,
they did have an interim.
Right. So that is one thing that it was a very strange year, and I think that we all agreed that it was strange. My expectations for them is to get back to the playoffs. I don't think there's really any doubt about that, especially with the way that their makeup is. They're in a 6-team district. There's no real reason for them not to finish in the top 4. I think that they're better than Church. I think they should be better than Church Clemens. I think they should be better than San Marcos. I think that really, in a lot of ways, they should probably be better than East Central, right? That's a game they should win. I think the expectation is for them to make the playoffs, to get the wheels back on, to reestablish their themselves as a San Antonio Power. Mm-hmm. Now remember, the shifts of the Sands have kind of shifted underneath them in Judson ISD, right? With the opening of Veterans Memorial, things have shifted a little bit there in Judson ISD. Mm-hmm. But there's not really any excuse, in my opinion, that they should be the flagship there. And I think what Coach Soto's got to do is rebuild that what's the word I'm looking for? That reputation.
Yeah.
And because Judson used to beat a lot of teams because they would walk off the bus and it would say Judson on their jerseys.
Mm-hmm. Which,
they got to get back to that.
And he's the perfect guy to do it. I mean, an alum of the program. Mm-hmm. Also, a guy, if you've never had the pleasure of speaking with Coach Soto, he gets you ready to run through a brick wall just by the way he says hi. I mean, that's high energy and that kind of stuff, too. So if there's a person that, can walk out and get that Judson across their chest type of, you're already down 15 before you even start type of feel, he's got a good shot to do it.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think that they should be a playoff team next year. I don't think they're a state title contender next year. My first reaction, I don't think they're a state title contender. I think Region 4 is too tough, especially because they're going to be a D. Actually, they were D2 last year, so maybe D2 is a little bit more open. But you may be dealing with a team like Westlake. Who knows?
They tend to Lake Travis.
Exactly. They're Vandergrift could sneak in there, stuff like that. There's Lake Travis going D1.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think right now, if you were to ask me, are they a state title contender, I would say no. But they should be a playoff team, and I think that a good season for them next year would be playoff team, win a playoff game, get those wheels back on, and start the Mark Soto era on a positive note. That, I think, is a reasonable expectation for them. What's next, Pickle?
Let's go with... which Texas high school football coaching staff would win in a basketball tournament? Frisco Lone Star.
Wow, okay.
I think it's got to be Frisco Lone Star. We've always said that Jeff Rayburn keeps his guys like they're in the weight room all the time, but they're also super tall. That's a very tall staff. If you're going to talk basketball, they look like a staff full of basketball players. Like Bob Wager and his staff, they look like a staff full of linebackers, not basketball players.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit off the board.
Okay.
Here, okay. I might go with a staff like Duncanville. Now, Coach Samples is going to coach.
He's going to coach.
Coach Samples is going to coach. Coach Samples doesn't move super well at this point. But he's going to coach. But he's got some dudes on his staff that are athletes. Now the problem is that they've been poached. A lot of them have been poached. Mm-hmm. But that would be a team that I would certainly keep an eye on there. Who else? Yeah, those are
Marlon's staff might be able to hoop.
Marlon's staff is pretty yoked.
Yeah.
Because you got to have some size, and that's one thing. I'm trying to think. Here's the problem. I don't know the Wichita Falls staff, but Grant Freeman's a giant person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feed him into the post, and he's gonna.
I was going to say getting him up and it's hard to move all that up and down the court for a long extended amount of time,
but Coach Freeman is a tall dude, and so that
he is really tall.
I don't know what the makeup of his staff is, if he's just recruiting tall dudes. I don't know.
Maybe he just recruits a ton of short dudes, so that way he everyone's like, oh yeah, that's the head coach, and everyone else is just flatlined.
I would say something like that. Okay, that's
I bet Step could give us.
Steph could give us some, but Frisco Lone Star. I mean, those are guys who are pretty famously in shape.
Yeah.
So that's
just if we're talking about a basketball tournament, not a game.
Yeah.
Endurance does play a factor there, and I feel like they've got height, and I feel like endurance.
I agree. I think that you're right. All right, 2 more because we got a hard out at 12:30.
All right, let's go with what's a sport that's the worst to watch when it goes bad?
Ooh.
I mean, bad baseball is not enjoyable.
Okay, so if you're really ready for my hot take, because I know we've been talking a lot about college basketball recently. I mean, college basketball is pretty rough watch sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a rough watch. Look at this game. We're at halftime. It's 21-13.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know what North Texas is shooting, but it's probably 10%.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's really bad.
It's bad. So I would say college basketball is pretty bad when it goes bad. Baseball, like a baseball blowout's pretty rough, but I'm also just inured to it because I've sat through a million of them.
You're a Rangers fan?
Yeah, I sit through a lot of blowouts. I sit through a lot of bad baseball. So I'm a bad guy to ask on that. I have also found, yeah, I don't know.
I see.
Like, when
I
it's
think
bad. It's it's. I think it's college basketball. Like that's my pick.
Yeah, I don't know. For me with college basketball, though, I think that there's always that you can, and this is the same way with football too. I think it can be fast paced enough to where it's like it keeps you going regardless. And two, there's always that even if it's a blowout, it's because someone on the winning team is just popping off for whatever reason, and so it's kind of marvelous to watch. I always feel like with bad baseball, it's like really hard to have that one thing of it's like, okay, this is there's no excitement in any portion of this. In basketball, you can at least get like a awesome dunk, you know.
I would agree with that, you know. But you can always hit home runs, and you know, I don't know. There's that. Anyway,
you're just a sicko.
I am a sicko. There's no doubt about that. All right, give me one last one. Give me an ender.
What would be a bucket list major sporting championship to attend and cover? Maybe you can make those two separate ones. What one would you like to go to as a fan? What one would you like to cover? And that might be the same answer.
It may be, yeah. I do think that it would be cool to cover the College World Series.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun thing to cover. Wow, A&M's up on Auburn. I do think that they would that would be a fun game, a fun event to cover, also to attend. State barbecue championships.
Number one, being judging.
Being a judge. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've said this before. I don't really have a desire to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a Super Bowl is like, it's just so much. You know what I mean?
I think I have a desire to go to the Super Bowl for everything other than the game itself. Like I want to do the experience. Like the media row, I think would just be a cool experience to do once. What
I would like to do is go to I'd like to go to like a big soccer match, like a World Cup final, like, and that would be like as a fan. I wouldn't want to cover it. So I would say to cover it, College World Series, to attend, let's just say World Cup final or World Cup semifinal, like a big soccer match. That would be my pick.
Sunday of the Masters. That would be awesome. Cover, watch.
Yeah, but anything. But here's the problem. Then you're watching golf.
That's the whole point. That's what makes it the best. That's what I want to do. Sunday of the Masters.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Okay.
Well, other than being able to judge the beans for the barbecue state championship. I want a bean trophy.
You want a bean? No, you want to win the bean.
I want to
yeah.
You
want to win a bean trophy.
I gotta learn how to make beans.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to make beans, but I don't think that they're not.
You
I don't know how to make
like
competition beans.
No, you sure don't. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Are you okay?
No. I'm going to need them to pick this up.
Louisiana Tech up 21-13 at the half.
Well, how terrible is that?
I agree. Go Mean Green.
Caw.
Go Mean Green.
Sad caw, but caw.
Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. For a very nervous Ashley Pickle, I'm a totally fine Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Monday on Texas Football Today.